Emma Watson said, "Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong." It is time we all perceive gender on a spectrum, not as two opposing sets of ideals. After reading Things Fall Apart and A Dead Man's Path, it is evident that gender portrayal plays a huge part in post-colonial literature. It seems as though each female and male character possesses stereotypical qualities specific to their gender. The portrayal of gender with the use of stereotypes allows readers to get an understanding of the issues that arise with stereotyping. First, I'll be reflecting on the portrayal of male characters in post-colonial literature. Male characters are often fit into the stereotype of lacking emotion and being afraid to seem weak. In Things Fall Apart, Okonkwo, an extremely important male character, is so afraid of being thought of as weak that he goes to the extreme of killing someone who he thinks of as a son. When Ikemefuna is killed, he cries out to Okonkwo for help. Okonkwo disregards what he says, and the author writes, "Dazed with fear, Okonkwo drew his machete and cut him down. He was afraid of being thought weak." Because Okonkwo is so concerned about fitting into the stereotype of not being weak, he murders someone that he thinks of as his own son. The fear of being weak destroys an important relationship in Things Fall Apart, showing how much fitting into a stereotype can affect someone. Another stereotype that male characters fit into in post-colonial literature is the stereotype that boys and men are only violent. This specific gender stereotype is heavily depicted in Things Fall Apart, from men competing in aggressive wrestling competitions to the male stories about fighting and bloodshed. In the novel, Noi internally struggles with seeming more masculine and violent. The boy enjoys his mother's stories, which are looked at as more feminine than masculine, but fears what will happen if he shows his liking towards these feminine stories. Achebe gives readers a look into his internal struggle of liking his mother's stories and rights. That was the kind of story Noi loved, but he now knew that they were foolish for foolish women and children, and he knew that his father wanted him to be a man. And so he no longer liked women's stories. Noi can't even express himself and enjoy the stories that he likes because they aren't violent enough. This is extremely sad that even a child has to think around the masculine stereotypes and whether he fits it or not. I just think that this is so toxic for a young child to have to think about. He can't even enjoy stories or folk tales because he has to be so focused on being masculine. Next, I'll be speaking about the portrayal of female characters in post-colonial literature. While reading these post-colonial texts, it occurred to me that the female characters are misrepresented and definitely fit into specific female stereotypes. A common stereotype is that women are only concerned about appearance and superficial things. In Dead Man's Path, Achebe makes his only female character fit right into this stereotype. Michael Obi and his wife have a conversation about the new school, and Achebe writes, "She began to see herself already as the admired wife of the young headmaster, the queen of the school. The wives of the other teachers would envy her position. She would set the fashion and everything." Don't get me wrong, I love Achebe's writing. But come on, seriously? A new school is being built with the main focus being education, and the only thing that the female character is interested in is her social status and her desire to start fashion trends? Michael Obi's wife is made out to seem extremely vain. This portrayal stereotypes females as only caring about appearance and superficial things, giving readers a false impression of what women actually thought about in these times. I can assure you that Michael Obi's wife was not thinking about the fashion trends she was setting when the new school started up. Not only are women portrayed as superficial, but they are also set out to be lesser than men in their societies, in many instances. And Things Fall Apart, Okonkwo's wives and daughter make all his meals for him and serve him as if they are his servants instead of his actual family. Why can't he make his own food? And let's not forget, in both novels, the educators are only male. Are females not worthy or smart enough to educate others? I think that the portrayal of female characters in post-colonial literature is actually degrading, as the characters are placed into the terrible stereotypes of women. The portrayal of gender gives readers an in-depth understanding of what it was like to be male or female at the time of post-colonialism, and how much stereotypes affected one's personality and everyday life. It is clear that people were afraid to break out of stereotypes at this time, making me thankful that we live in a society that is more acceptive of different stereotypes and what people want to be. Thanks to post-colonial literature, I will think carefully about stereotypes and the issues that come with it. In conclusion, gender portrayal is an extremely important part of post-colonial literature, as it helps the audience understand how men and women were viewed in post-colonial times.